And we're live! What is up, everyone? Kind of caught you by surprise there, didn't I? What is up, everybody? This is This Week in Bullshit. I am your host, Justin Proper, and there's a lot of bullshit to cover this week. But first off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone who's in the chat so far. We got Perp Minded, Salty Nerd Podcast. Salty, what is up, man? Oh, shoot. I thought whoops. Hold on a second. I hear the audio. I don't know where it's coming from though. Which tab is it? There's like a million tabs up here. Anyways, thank you. Thank you all for showing up. And first off, 19K Fox. He gives Drunk 3PO a run for his money as the most handsome man on YouTube. Fox, how you doing? Your mic is muted.
Burma! Hey, is that better?
Yes. We're starting off so great right now. This is an excellent start.
It's all by design, people.
Yes, it's all by design.
Very kind words, Justin. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, of course, we got now the return of Clone Commander Jeremy. He's also known as Spartan Jeremy. What is up, man? How you doing?
Something technical difficulties, something bad weather, something I'm here. Be happy.
I am very happy. Actually, no, I'm slightly disappointed because I was expecting Spartan Jeremy. You've subverted my expectations once again. Mecha McCheese, how you doing? According to Christy, she actually said, I can't see this on the stream itself, but she did send a poop sticker. So thank you for the poop emoji. I greatly appreciate that. I'm sorry I can't actually highlight it on here, but yeah, everyone go and check out Christy. By the way, I need to do this because I have not done this yet. Welcome to the moderator status. Congratulations, Christy. You've earned it.
You made it good.
All right, and first off, we're just gonna get right into it. So, The Rise of Skywalker, it's gonna be coming out pretty soon, and I think we pretty much know what's gonna happen. There's been a lot of controversy lately coming out, specifically with now the cast, the crew are coming out, and they agree with us that The Last Jedi was terrible. John Boyega thought it was iffy, and people were relieved. I've been reading that people were relieved that J.J. Abrams was coming back. Everyone was excited and just cheering with joy. What do you think about, what is your take on this with everyone coming out? What does this mean for the movie? Do you think it's just like something to give the movie good press because the majority of fans didn't like the last movie? Like, what do you think is the motivation behind this? We'll start with Fox.
I think it was in June where I did a video and I called that the cast is going to initiate jump ship protocol. I think that they knew that the film stank when they were making it. And there's actually some videos out there where Daisy Ridley was asked, "Are you happy with The Last Jedi?" Doing press for The Last Jedi. And she said, yeah, sure. Let's go with that. It's the chink in the armor was there. And now that they're done with 9, I think they're speaking their mind. I think this is how they really feel. I think that they want to distance themselves from that artistic project so that they can lock in some new artistic projects.
Yeah, that's a good take. Clone Commander Jeremy?
I just wish they hadn't. I wish they hadn't lied this entire time. I can understand what. I'm still not convinced they're actually telling the truth now, but if they are, I wish they hadn't lied this entire time. We got so much shit for just being honest.
Yeah,
we got shit from these people for being honest and saying what they didn't have the balls to say.
To be fair, I think they might have been under some sort of contract that they weren't allowed to just crap on the movie that they're promoting. Now they're kind of doing that, but they're doing it for like the last movie that came out. It is kind of, I mean, do you guys find that a little strange? Is it like to save face? Like, to me, it's just, that's where it kind of comes across as. And then you have John Boyega saying, and I think it was after, if you guys recall on Twitter, the feedback that he got, someone said that they were very disappointed in Finn's character and they expected more. And he's like, wow, guys, I didn't really know you guys felt that way. And I think maybe he sort of felt that way too, but he wasn't really validated by, the fans that, who no one really has the balls to just go up and say like, hey, your character sucked in the last movie. Like, no one does that. At least I've never seen that. And we have a super chat from Thomas Gilkey. Before I forget, Thomas Gilkey, thank you so much for supporting the channel. He was just live and he just hit 300 subscribers. So if you are new here, if you don't know who Thomas Gilkey is, go check him out. Just hit 300 subscribers. Congratulations, Thomas. And he says, just quickly stopping by to say, hail chat, hail panel, Fox, glad you're back. Fox, so you were out, you were traveling then?
I was in the Philippines, yeah, for about a week and a half.
Right.
It's great to be back. Great to be back.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And you also, I kind of want to talk about this briefly, since we are talking about Star Wars. We are talking about The Last Jedi. You are one of the few people that I know who have seen Knives Out, and you gave it a positive review in your 2-minute review.
I did. I'm very, I try to be very objective when I do my 2-minute review. It's just for people to look at and decide if it's a movie they want to see. So it's spoiler free. I try to be objective, and I give an overall thought about the movie itself. Then I did a follow-up video, and where I revealed that the reason I wanted to see Knives Out is because Rian Johnson wrote and directed that film. I wanted to know if he was a competent writer-director. And if that was the case, which in my opinion it was, I think that what he did in The Last Jedi was completely intentional. We saw that video from years back where he said his idea in his head of a perfect film would be half the audience love it and half the audience hate it. But what he did was he didn't just split the audience that saw that film. He split the fandom. He split the fans that were the lifelong fans of the franchise. And, you can see on Twitter, Facebook, he sat back and laughed about it the whole time. So that was more of a dig for me, but it really let me know that this wasn't just a moron who just happened to make a mistake in a bad film. It was intentional.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly was. And after seeing it, it's so weird because, I went into the movie just like at first, I was like, oh, God, this is going to be a disaster. It's going to be like so full of, these political motivations and themes that are in it. And really, that's not really what the story was about. It was just about a family of assholes. Really, that's what it comes down to. And they're very unlikable. I've never disliked Chris Evans more in my life. Like, it's just not as a person, as the a character.
Right? Sure.
Yeah, they are all really terrible people. But I think that's what's great about it, is that you didn't have like, and they subverted your expectations in a way like you kind of saw it coming, but he did it well. And I think I felt kind of strange because I had to put that part of my mind away, that thinking like, oh, this guy made The Last Jedi and it was so terrible and he ruined Luke Skywalker. Put that away and just sit down, just relax, get some popcorn and just have fun and just kind of let loose with that. But I understand people by principle who wouldn't want to see it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Clone Commander Jeremy, have you seen it before?
I haven't yet, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've been far too busy to bother with Rian Johnson, thankfully.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to get to a couple of comments here. Salty Nerd Podcast, I'm going to have you on sometime, Salty. As professional actors, it's their job to promote whatever movie they are involved in. Yes, absolutely. Teresa Martin is waving at us. Let's all wave back to her. And we also have John Matrixx here. And this is the first time I have seen you without aviators. What's going on, man?
Oh, not much. I just finished with my live stream.
All right. I'm going to have to go check that out.
That's funny.
Later.
I remember just seeing you over there.
On his channel?
Yeah.
I would imagine so. How you doing, John?
Pretty good, man. Busy day.
Yes, busy day indeed. I just wanted to get your thoughts real quick on, and for those of you who are just joining us, we had a bunch of people come in. Thank you all. If you'd like to, please hit that like button and go subscribe to all these lovely panelists and follow Spartan Jeremy or Clone Commander Jeremy on Twitter. And first off, we were just talking about this a second ago. We were talking about how some of the cast members and the crew have been speaking out against The Last Jedi very subtly. But I wanted to ask what your opinion was, John, about sort of the motivation behind that. Like, are they doing it to save face? Are they doing this because this is how they really feel? Are they just kind of projecting it? Are they really being honest about their feelings entirely? I'm not entirely sure. So I'd like to get your take on that.
Well, let's look at it this way. John Boyega, he has been on Mark Hamill's side now. Mark Hamill's been vocal for the last 2 years. Nothing new. But for John Boyega to come out and say that he pretty much hates this movie, I'm not surprised. Did you see the way his character was treated? I mean, it didn't take a rocket scientist to know that his character was trash in that movie. And the movie overall was bad. And it's really not, just the cast coming out. Even more people on YouTube are coming out and saying Mike Zero has trashed that movie now. He is full fandom menace now.
And he has every right to do that because Rian Johnson did personally insult him.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Rian Johnson went after him.
And unnecessarily, too. Like, he was
no reason. No reason.
It's like, I mean, he just did his own thing. He did theory videos, and you can make fun of him. That's fine. Everyone does that. But to actually go out and do that, like in the public, in the open, is a little disrespectful in a way because, it seemed like, Mike was really disappointed and hurt by it. But he even came out a couple of days afterwards and made a video and kind of made some subtle jabs at Rian Johnson and did kind of say like what his feelings were about The Last Jedi, but he was kind of nice about it. But oddly enough, he did actually title it "It's Time to Admit the Truth," kind of similar to our friend Jeremy. You think that was sort of like what do you think of someone like Mike Zero coming out, being personally insulted? Like, why should he still be a Star Wars fan at this point? Why should he continue supporting people?
Yeah, I mean, he's a true Star Wars fan. There's no doubt about it. He is. But he's pretty honest. He put up a video a couple of hours ago, and he's getting attacked from SJWs and things for not liking the movie. He's been completely honest, and he said he feels so good now. It feels like a weight is lifted off his shoulder that he can actually be more honest about his feelings. Because if you listen to what he's been saying about The Last Jedi and even Star Wars Theory, I was talking about this on my stream. Mike Zero says, yeah, I had a lot of problems with that movie. Same thing that Star Wars Theory says. And we know that that means I hate this movie. But he never came out and said it till a couple of days ago. And Star Wars Theory, he'll probably never come out and say it. He hates that movie. So it feels like the weight of the world is lifted off his shoulder. And now he can honestly admit it to everyone that he hates the movie. And Rian Johnson, this should tell you guys, Rian Johnson's trilogy will never see the light of day.
Hopefully not.
The cast is coming out and crushing the movie. The fans have already been saying the same thing anyway. The only ones that are still defending that movie now is really Collider. That's it.
Yeah, and even some of them, like you could tell they have issues with it, but they're really holding tight on this. And I'm surprised that no one really came forward earlier. It was only after like 2 years of us, going out there on the front line saying like, what the hell's going on? Much credit to Ethan, Jeff, and Jeremy, John Tox, Hey Viv, all these people going out there and just being honest about this. Like Anna as well. I'm going to throw her in there. Jesse Milestone. I mean, all these people, like, we're kind of the front runners of this whole, this hashtag, because it's not really a group, the fandom menace, but what it is just, just being honest about how you feel about a movie. And that's all that it really was. And then it's because of all these people coming out and say like, oh, you're a terrible person. You're a racist, you're a sexist for not liking it because, and J.J. Abrams saying, oh, you must be intimidated by women if you don't like the new movies. Like what is going on here? Like what is this is so unnecessary. And this didn't have to even be a thing to begin with.
Yeah, it's
But
funny now. Even J.J. Abrams is taking shots at the movie.
Right. And I mean, he probably wasn't too happy with it to begin with, but he's got to roll with the punches. He's got to do what he's got to do. But honestly, it's just something that is just really aggravating. Clone Commander, Fox, you got anything to add to that?
Well, to be honest, I think that kind of feeds into my earlier point that I made before John popped in. I can understand that they'd be under some form of contract to defend movies that they're involved in, or at least not speak badly of them. But at the same time, they could have obligated to. They could have defended The Last Jedi without attacking us in the way they did.
That's very interesting, Simgear. Interestingly, I find the YouTube coverage better than anything Disney has put out. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the thing. Brian the Observer's here. He's 2 away from 200. Guys, go ahead and check out his channel, and if you like his stuff, go ahead, give him a sub. He's only a couple away. We have people reaching milestones all the time here.
That's awesome.
I love it. Guys, like John, I think, he's muted right now, but I'm sure John could attest to this. If you remember like even like a year ago, a few months back even, it was hard to get to 1,000. Now everyone's just getting up there really quick. Yeah. Like kind of shows like the kind of foundation that, we've kind of helped build, just I sort of see like you is starting like in a way, the second wave of this fandom menace, if you will. And, I hope that people continue to keep making new content because it's all interesting. I mean, isn't it like where we started from and now where we are now?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, I wish I was around for the first wave. I mean, I didn't start a channel till last August. So I was a bit late to getting on YouTube. I watch YouTube, but I didn't put out any content. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, people are really going to start hitting 1,000 subs after next week when this dumpster fire hits theaters.
Yeah,
well, without a doubt. Yeah, I think. Listen. I think Clone Commander Jeremy is exactly right. You could defend your project without belittling the fans. Look what Henry Cavill just did. Look what Gal Gadot just did in their interviews. They said, listen, that's just passion. And they in no way endorsed the negativity or really decried it. They just said, listen, that's just fans being passionate. And they left it at that. And that's all they had to do. You could stay Switzerland. You could remain neutral and everybody would be fine, but to just attack people the way that they did. And listen, Rian Johnson is absolutely, he is, what he's done is so unforgivable because he was the writer director of all people out there. He should have been more professional, mature, representing the studio. And so when it comes from, when that's the top down effect there, where if he's your lead man, setting the standard, setting the pace, all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah, absolutely. And, going off of what you guys have been saying, it's just, exactly what you said, Fox. There's a way to defend your movie without saying that the fans who didn't like it and their opinions are somehow invalid because they didn't like the direction that you took. I mean, this is the same thing that happened with Ghostbusters 2016. God forbid. I don't want to. Do I have to say it? Movie. Do I have to say it again? They threw Bill Murray out of a fucking window. I will not forgive them for that. That was just in for a joke.
At least it's getting retconned now.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's not. It's its own different universe, which is fine. I'm even okay if you continue doing that. Whatever, I don't care. As long as you can have 2 different timelines and it can be fine. Which is amazing how the EU was thrown out willy-nilly like that. It's kind of upsetting. But going back to the topic at hand, Terminator Dark Fate. That was another one. Wasn't it? That was a whole other mess. First 5 minutes, bam, done. I was out.
Still don't know how the fan base.
Exactly. And what did the guy say, John? Like, do you recall what I think it was like the writer or the director?
Tim Miller?
Yeah, Tim Miller.
He said that Grace was gonna scare the F out of misogynists.
It didn't scare the F out of anyone.
No.
It's just
No.
it's kind of ridiculous.
You
Someone
know
in the
what? He's scared the F out of fans because fans didn't go see it.
There you go.
Right.
Exactly what it did.
We were scared from even bothering. So we had somebody in the chat mentioning stealing Solo. Fine, I'll talk about it a little bit. So Jeff had an oopsie where the comic was misprinted, and it was kind of a mess. And it was the shipping's fault. Something wrong went there. Jesse Milestone defended him. People were not happy about it. And people were saying terrible things about Jeff and just like how like he sucks. And I'm just like, dude, like, no, he rectified the situation. He sent out a whole other copy. So I get 2 copies of Stealing Solo for the price of 1. So I think that's excellent customer service if I'm being perfectly candid here and being perfectly honest. So that's my take on it. Anyone else? I mean, do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think that he could have been like Disney, and I think we all saw the Luke Skywalker Black Series figure where there's a misprint of Skywalker's name on the front and back. So I mean, these things happen even at that level. So he's making it right. I think that you got to accept his apology and go on. Now, if you never got your book, that's maybe a different story, but. So it's just I thought that was funny that we had that comparison. Did anybody else see those Black figure or the Black Series figures of Luke?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, so I know Ryan and OG Star Wars posted on their Twitter. There were Black Series they went to the store, they went to Target, they went to wherever and picked up their Luke Skywalker's or Black Series figure, and on the front his name is misspelled, and then on the back it's misspelled again in a different way.
Luke Skywalker was misspelled?
Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
How did they spell it?
They added an extra letter on the front, and then they left out, I think, the Y on the end or something, or on the back of the box. It was horrible.
Luke Skywalker.
I mean, we know that you hate the character, our favorite character, but damn, at least spell his name right.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. So that's if there's any kind of information that I'm leaving out when it comes to that, we're going back to Stealing Solo. Well, first off, Clone Commander John, do you guys have any thoughts on the whole situation, or is there something that I'm missing?
I haven't heard too much about the comment myself, so I can't really speak on it.
Okay, that's fair.
I've seen a few bits and pieces, but nothing that I can really comment on. It seems like this time, as opposed to last time, I'm the one waiting for the comic book to arrive.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's like international shipping, so that might be kind of the reason why. But yeah, and people are really upset about it. And look, guys, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Like, I wouldn't say that it's like I understand people are like saying like, oh, we should get refunds or something, and that's your right to be upset by it. That's totally fine. I'm not gonna fault Jeff for like the initial printing of it because that wasn't necessarily his fault. I don't think he even wanted it to be out in that way. And I think he's honestly doing the best that he can to try to rectify it. And honestly, like, I don't want to go on talking about this too much longer, but I understand that, people in the chat or some people, some of the customers have really just were not happy about it. And that is totally fine. If there's a product that's not satisfying to you, or if it was wrong, or if it's missing something, then yeah, absolutely say something and speak up about it, because the person is not going to know unless you say something. But I think he is honestly doing the best that he can to right all the wrongs, and that's just where I stand on it. So hopefully, sure, yeah, you can get a refund. Why not? Yeah, of course, you guys have the right to a refund. Honestly, yeah, sure, absolutely. If you're not happy with the product, you can totally hit them up and ask for one. That's fine. But I'm not going to be here, defending him all day, because we do have other topics to talk about. So that's all I'm going to, say in that regard. But it is sort of a messy situation that I totally understand that people are upset by. And I think Jeff is doing the best that he can to, make sure everyone's satisfied. But that's just my opinion. And I'm not going to really comment on what Jesse said, just because, it is what it is. Oh, cool. So, anyways, back to back to the rise of Skywalker. So, another thing that came out is something that is potentially not really incriminating, but something that was quite controversial with John Boyega. He was talking about Kelly Marie Tran and about the whole. If I can find it real quick, the controversy when it in regards to like the backlash that you get on Twitter and how people treat other people on social media, all of that fun stuff that we love. And here's what I think. I have it pulled up somewhere. I'm not quite sure. Can one of you guys remind me about what Boyega said? Here it is. He said, John Boyega says there's, in regards to a fandom conflict, it's the most stupid thing in the world. There's a sort of double-edged sword there. You can get really great engagement, but then there's what happened with Kelly about the small subset people who are very vocal and very negative and having to navigate that. Being in this position, you just understand the masses, how the masses think, Through social media, we get to engage, we get to have fun. But at the same time, for those who are not mentally strong, you are weak to believe in every single thing that you read. That's, it is what it is. It goes on to say, I don't know for a cut off there. Oh, here it is. I don't know for me anyway. When I see that backlash, I'm like, well, that's actually not true. But no, it is actually not true. So it's kind of like, he shrugs. It is what it is, but to engage, to connect with the fans who otherwise wouldn't get a day-to-day experience, especially during things like the press tour and behind-the-scenes stuff, is always good. Okay, and then people were not happy about it because they believed he was throwing. Feel like, does it come across at all that he was throwing Kelly Marie Tran under the bus? Because I don't quite see it.
I don't think he meant to on purpose. But okay. With that being said, he was absolutely correct. I mean, you can't get sensitive, to people, attacking you or whatever. I mean, when you're a Hollywood star, there are going to be people that's going to like you. There's going to be people that don't like you, and the media tried to build it as there's a bunch of racists and stuff like that. People could be racist against me. I have no idea. Personally, I really don't care. I can't change people. So if you're going to be that sensitive, maybe you shouldn't be on social media. Have you been on Twitter lately? Twitter is bad. It is.
Oh God,
it's completely different from Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
It's a whole mess of blue, and no pun intended there. But it really is just like the most politically correct assholes that you could possibly meet. And they talk about, tolerance, but they're really the most intolerable people you could possibly imagine. Isn't that something? Isn't that crazy?
Anyone that preaches tolerance is usually intolerant.
But anyways, John Boyega did say later, he said, in no way was I referring to Kelly when I made my comments, although the interviewer mentioned her given the topic. Even though you kind of did mention her by name. I guess it was talking about the later part of that. He says, sometimes I felt strong and sometimes I felt weak. I was really speaking from my own perspective throughout this franchise. Badly worded, though, I apologize. If you don't like Star Wars or the characters, understand that there are decision makers. John, no. Decision makers, and harassing the actors and actresses will do nothing. You're not entitled to politeness when your approach is rude, even if you paid for a ticket. I think he's spot on that. I don't see anything wrong with what he's saying here. What do you guys think? Like, should he have really apologized in the first place?
I mean, to apologize for the misunderstanding is one thing, because he did mention her name. I thought that he was referencing what he assumed was negative backlash and the attacks that she sort of had to endure, and then that's what drove her off Twitter. Now, she hasn't come out and said that. I don't know if that's been verified, but I think that's what he was referencing. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, if you want to come back and maybe say, listen, I didn't mean it that way, sure. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I agree with John. He's on the money there. Listen, it is a cesspool. You wait out in it. And if it's too much for you, you come back and you just maybe maybe you shut that down. Maybe you have a publicist do that stuff for you. But I mean, Twitter's nasty. Instagram is one thing, Facebook is one thing, but Twitter is just a hellhole. And and if you can't hack it, I mean, and if it's just, even if you just choose not to engage, then that's definitely your choice. And I think that's something. Well, that's a level of maturity that most people don't have. It seems like they just can't not get in there and attack somebody or go after somebody or try to prove a point. Yeah. To
be honest with you, I mean, I have Twitter mainly just to see what's up in the fandom. That's really about it. My own personal Facebook, that's been deactivated for months. Instagram, really don't have that. And I feel much better not being on those platforms. I mean, I just got bored with them after so many years. So Twitter, if you ever go to my Twitter, you see I'll go days without posting anything because I really don't care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I really do. I do it to keep up with the people that I care about, keep up with the news, and sometimes I'll have a little fun every now and then and just tell people how terrible of spellers they are, because it really is pretty bad. And when someone corrects me, I'm honored because I know. I
misspell words all the time.
yeah, and I understand getting it out in a tweet. You only have so many characters, so I understand that. But like when someone does it like constantly has, every tweet has a spelling error or a grammatical error, my head just it explodes. Just like, go back to school, retake English and try again. It's a disaster. I understand an autocorrect mistake, but it's awful.
It's awful. I know.
It is.
What,
and
how do you react then? How do you react then if people type tweets in British English?
Oh, that's fine. Like it's British.
It's a whole nother level.
Yeah. British English always confuse me because like we'll have a word like center, and the British will pronounce it. Well, they'll write it as centre, even though they say center. It's different to me.
Damn it, Corporal Shepherd.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Well, you sir have the comment of the day, and congratulations, you are getting a wrench for the stream. Congratulations.
You also
Corporal
apparently
Shepherd.
don't use punctuation either.
I'm not even concerned about that. But yep, congratulations. Enjoy it for the day. Please use it wisely, because if you don't, I will be very, very unhappy. So let's get to something that I wanted to talk about as well. Going back to what J.J. Abrams said specifically, we're going to get into that real quick. So for people who don't know, J.J. Abrams had an interview with, I believe it was probably Variety, I'm going to guess. They've been doing a lot of stuff on Variety and Vanity Fair lately. He said, in regards to The Last Jedi, he says, on the other hand, it's a bit of a meta approach to the story. I don't think that people go to Star Wars to be told this doesn't matter, in regards to pretty much everything that he set up in the film. He said, even so, Abrams said, The Last Jedi laid the groundwork for The Rise of Skywalker, and a story that I think needed a pendulum swing in one direction in order to swing in the other. What do you think he means by that?
I think he means that he's trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and he's going to do the best he can, but he's, these are the cards he's been dealt, so he's going to pretend like, it was all part of the plan, and he's going to make these colorful metaphors and pendulums, and no, he had he had a story for all three, and JJ came in with a wrecking ball, Ryan came in with a wrecking ball and just destroyed that. So now he's making the best of what he has, but he knows it's a shit sandwich, and I'm just not going to eat it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting approach for sure. I do think that in one way, it's kind of like that. Like The Last Jedi was clearly did not seem like it fit well and flowed well with The Force Awakens at all. It didn't really. It just felt tonally different. It just visually it was different. I mean, it looked great for a piece of turd, but it's just one of those things where it's just like something doesn't feel right. Something feels off. The tone isn't right. It feels like a ripoff of Marvel humor being thrown in there, a your mama joke. Like, what is going on here? Well, why is Luke acting this way? There's so many questions that are brought up in it, but Ryan Johnson answers all of J.J. Abrams' questions, but kind of does it in a way that just isn't really an answer at all. It's just like, nope, nothing. That's like his answer for all of it. Why is Luke Skywalker there? No, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Why? Like, who's Snoke? I don't know. Who cares? Who erased parents? I don't care. It doesn't really matter. But what do you think, Clone Commander? We haven't really talked to you in a little bit.
I'm looking sort of. Well, I've kind of got 2 points. JJ saying it's a bit of a meta approach to the story. As soon as he said that, the leaks about what they're going to do to Palpatine came. Because that's kind of the meta of Star Wars right now in Palpatine. The story being like a swinging pendulum. Well, to be fair, we don't want it to be bad, but we know the Rise of Skywalker is going to be bad. Describing it, I'd use the term wrecking ball more than a pendulum personally, but that's just me.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Thank you, John, for pointing this out. Mecha McCheese sends a poop emoji, a little super chat sticker. So thank you, Mecha McCheese. I really appreciate that. And a bunch of other people were talking about Stealing So a little bit, which we covered. So if you want to go rewatch that segment, go ahead and do that. But yeah, also, yeah. For some reason, StreamYards doesn't send the sticker emojis. They don't show up on here, so I can't highlight it. But I really do appreciate it. The poop emojis. It's the second one I got today. I really love it, guys. Thank you so much. John, did you have any? I think there's another section too that we could get to. But John, did you have anything that you wanted to say about this?
It could be that JJ is probably trying to save face for what's coming.
What do you think?
I think he's trying to say, guys, I had nothing to work with. This movie that's coming out next week, it's not really my fault. It's Ryan Johnson's fault, really, to tell you the truth.
Blame him.
He killed off Snoke. He killed off Luke. But J.J. Abrams, remember, you didn't put Luke in The Force Awakens. But I digress. I digress, though. Yeah. I think he's just really trying to save face, but he was right in a way though when he said like you can't tell fans that like your expectations don't matter or anything like that. You know, the old stuff doesn't matter anymore. But to me, really, I'm looking at the new movie and we're still not going to get an explanation as to why Rey can do what she does with no training. None of the leaks have mentioned that.
No, you're right about that. And I speaking of the leaks, though, do you guys think it's actually like all of it's true? Like, there's certain things that I'm just like, I'm not sure about that. So, you know, it is what it is. The Reddit leaks have been around for quite some time now. Can I just get your guys' quick thoughts on it? Now that it was brought up.
Unfortunately, I think that I haven't seen anything that contradicts the leaks. I mean, so I tend to lean towards, I think that's all going to happen. As ridiculous and far out as it was months ago when we heard about it, I think it's going to happen that way. And it's just going to be, at least, I'm glad I know. There's a little bit of buffer. I'm kind of prepared for that ridiculousness because The Last Jedi was a sucker punch. It came out of nowhere. This time I'm ready. I got my guard up, so I think I'll survive.
Yeah, I think when people say The Last Jedi is the worst Star Wars movie ever, I think Rise of Skywalker just said, hold my beer. Because these leaks are all-time bad. I mean,
yeah,
this is going to be a slap in the face to anyone that likes the prequels and likes the OT. Because my biggest problem is Rey taking over as the chosen one. That's a no-no right there.
I completely agree with that. And it's also, as JJ said, it's like, what exactly did you say? It was like dismissing what's important, your expectations, like saying like, oh, this doesn't matter. So, he actually said, I don't think that people go to Star Wars to be told that it doesn't matter. And I think, funny enough, that's kind of what this new trilogy does.
Yeah.
Vader's redemption. Yeah, it doesn't matter because Palpatine came back to life anyways.
And he seems to be the ultimate yes man. Because
seems like it, yeah.
I think J.J. Abrams isn't dumb. Now, Kathleen Kennedy is dumb, but she's still his boss when it comes down to it. And she's making all of the other decisions. And from what we've heard, she has her name written all over this movie as far as some of the decisions that are made. And it's gonna destroy everything about built in the prequels.
Real quick, I'm going to address the super chat that I have highlighted. Mecha McCheese, thank you for the $2. Thank you for the super chat once again. I really appreciate it. He said, disagree with you on stealing Solo, but respect for addressing. Yeah, absolutely. If you guys have something that you want me to address, I will be more than happy to talk about it. But if it's not like one of the main topics, I won't spend like an hour and a half discussing something that I don't entirely know the full story about. So, I do what I can, but I really appreciate it. And we're going to be going on for about, I think, like 15, 20 more minutes, and then we're going to wrap it up. But I just want to thank everybody who is in the chat right now. I greatly appreciate it. We have 26 likes, 3 dislikes. That's all right. It's engagement. I appreciate it. Thank you to each and every single one of you who are here right now. There's 21 people watching. Greatly appreciate it. So one thing that I do want to actually point out that I think it's interesting. Let me know what you think about this, guys. So if Palpatine actually coming back, I think it kind of might make sense, but hear me out on it. If you guys remember the that opera scene in Episode 3, when he talks about Darth Plagueis, he could save other people from dying, including except for himself. And I think how do you think? So obviously that plays into it, and Palpatine learns how to save himself from death. But how do you guys think it's going to actually play out? Are we going to get an explanation, or is it just going to be like not addressed?
The elites say it's pretty ambiguous, that it's not going to be really addressed. So, but the book that comes out next year is supposed to have much more stuff in it, but you shouldn't have to read a book to find out this stuff.
I agree.
If Palpatine is dead, we need an explanation as to why he's back.
Yeah, I agree. And JJ's just the king of just not answering his questions. He sets up questions very well. That's why he was perfect for The Force Awakens, but not really a guy who answers any of them. I'll give an example.
Yeah, well, that's the way he does things.
Right.
Unfortunately,
like
with
Lost, for example.
Storytelling.
Lost, he was just involved with the pilot, and he just so giddily with excitement saying, oh yeah, the great thing about Lost is I was only involved with the pilot. Everything else, it's their fault. Like it comes off as like he's excited. Like it's like a win-win for him. If the finale is great, then he's like, oh yeah, did the pilot set it up? Yeah, gets credit for that. But if it sucks, he's like, nothing to do with that. So that's what's great. Win-win. He doesn't have that safety net here, does he, with The Rise of Skywalker?
Not at all.
Nope.
I think that you could do, and I think I agree with John. I haven't heard anything that it's going to go into detail because that's really not his thing. That's what everyone's saying on the panel. I agree with you. You could do something where if you do a flashback and we see a stasis pod in his chambers while the throne room scene is going on from Return of the Jedi, and before he steps up to deal the final blow to Luke, he hits a button on the console of his chair. Okay, that sort of activates the clone that's waiting just in case. And he does the lightning thing, and then he gets thrown off. And it has to be that he died, but there was some other reason for him coming back. You can't say that he fell down there and he's okay. It can't be that body that remained. It has to be another clone body, and his consciousness, for whatever reason, however you want to explain it, was transferred to that body. And then before it the Death Star blows up, he escapes, much like Luke escaped with Vader, you know, and it's a little 15-second, you know, flashback, and there we go. You know, I wouldn't like that, but I would like that better than just ambiguous, magical, ooh, you know.
Yeah, that would be a little upsetting.
Can I interject there just a minute?
Yes.
Sure.
So, that would explain things a hell of a lot better than what we are going to get. That much is obvious. But still, this is probably the ideal scenario, what you're suggesting. But still, even then, how would no one have noticed? How would Vader not have noticed? How would Luke not have noticed?
Exactly. Because he shouldn't be coming back. He should be dead. Snoke was supposed to be alive for the whole trilogy. You know? I mean, that's why Colin Trevorrow left. Because he knew overall basically what he was going to get for 9. And then, we see the interviews with Luke. He's talking about, Luke is at the end of 7, right? He's on the cliff and he's in the Force and he's hovering and there's rocks everywhere and he's all powerful. That's what Colin thought he was going to get for his movie. But then he saw Ryan come in and just destroy that. He knew he was going to have nothing left for his film, so he's like, "See ya, I'm gone. I'm out of here." And
peace.
You know, see you later. So I mean, there's no way you can convince me that this is the way it was supposed to go. There's no way. I'm never going to believe that. So now that this is what he's stuck with, he has to create some convoluted thing. You know, you can go back to the Dark Horse comics where there was cloning and maybe pull some of that and try to make it the best that you can. But yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. It's no one noticed. You know, it's just that this has been going on for all this time, and he's just been chilling, hanging out. You know, you'd have to explain that also, and I don't know that you can.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you absolutely need to address. But speaking of chilling out and relaxing and addressing things, terrible transition. But PB, Pop Culture PB, my co-host for the show, has finally graced us with his presence. So thank you for coming by. Nice little Santa hat, by the way.
I would have been here sooner, but
BB,
it took
you
me
there?
a while to find my hat.
Oh, well, okay, that's fair. Now we got matching hats here. John's like, what
Thank
the like this is but yeah, BB, we were just talking about do you have any you were listening to the stream, right? While you're getting here?
Oh, and I was definitely listening.
Did you have any anything you wanted to say about the
nursing hawk and leaks that they have there, then engage?
A little bedpan leak, is that what you're referring to? Might be a little better than these leaks.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. PB, specifically, I'd like to get your comments on the cast and crew coming out and you're kind of expressing some of their subtle grievances that they had and their issues with The Last Jedi. Just like to get your thoughts on that. Take your time.
There. Shit. I mean, Harrison Ford, my bad, not Han Solo. Harrison said after the first movie he didn't like the guy. He made 3 other movies after that.
That's the paycheck for you. The power of the paycheck.
Yep.
Like, you can get paid and still speak your mind.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you definitely can, and without entirely, just crapping on the project. But I mean, some people think like, oh, it's like unprofessional to do that. Like, they shouldn't have been talking and speaking out like that. I mean, do you guys think like it's unprofessional in a way? I mean, is it really an issue? Like having them have, I don't know, an opinion. Something I asked earlier was, like, what do you think their motivations are for coming out now? Like, why now?
Probably came out now because they know they're not going to get attacked by the soy boys on the other side. So if they come out and are anti-Last Jedi, they'll curry favor with the people on that side, and then they won't get attacked after this movie is an atrocity. That's why it's Tross, because it's atrocity.
Wouldn't that be a damn great thing if the leaks, well, first off, turn out to be true, but people who even liked The Last Jedi were like, nah, Rise of Skywalker, this was awful. Like, wouldn't that be a hell of a thing if it was so bad that it united the fandom again? Like, it was so terrible. Like, we were just like, no, boo. Like, all the Reylos were upset that there's no romance between Rey and Kylo. Like, wouldn't that be a damn good thing? Do you think that's going to happen, or is it going to, like, I mean, where do you think it's going to fall? Is what I should ask. When ranking all the movies, where do you think it'll fall in? Just as a prediction and based off the trailers that we've seen so far.
I mean, it's definitely going to be in the bottom third.
Yeah, probably. Anyone can chime in at any time, by the way.
It may be right at the bottom based on leads.
You think it's going to be worse than The Last Jedi? Does this sound worse?
If
I
the
think
leaks are true. If the leaks are true, 100% worse.
I know, Will. I know.
Because the leaks have a Reylo moment in it, too.
I definitely...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
the Reylo
I definitely.
moment, I'll be like,
wise
no,
words.
No,
wise
this
words.
is definitely worse.
Yeah. I think you froze up there, Spartan.
No. Well, it's like JJ said, The Last Jedi laid the groundwork for The Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
So it laid a groundwork of suck for Skywalker to build upon. So it's gonna really suck.
Oh gosh. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's gonna. I say it now, but I don't think it's going to be worse than The Last Jedi in terms of, being grossly offensive to the lore and the mythology and to the characters that we love.
Well, yeah, it'll be tough to be worse than The Last Jedi because they're not able to destroy Walker's character.
Again.
Yeah. But Luke may not be in this movie very long.
Yeah, he's not going to be in it at all. Like, why is he even listed? Like, what if he's in here less than he was in The Force Awakens?
They want you to come and see it.
If I can be honest.
Yeah. Well, the word is he only has about 7-8 minutes of screen time.
That's more than C-3PO has had for the last, I don't know, like 20 years, really?
Yeah.
Like, he's had like no screen time, and now he actually is going to get some.
They disrespected him a lot.
Yeah, like with Anthony Daniels feeling like he's, and everyone's kind of speaking up about this. Like Anthony Daniels feels like he's like a set decoration.
Yeah, that's what he said about everybody hates The Last Jedi.
I don't think anybody who's worked on it really liked it. Like even, I think someone mentioned it here earlier, like Daisy Ridley going I think it was Fox.
Daisy Ridley, she didn't really like the movie, and she was the star of the movie. She's like, sure.
Sure, it's fine. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's all right. You should definitely go see it.
I wonder what's going through Rian Johnson's mind right now. He's seeing everybody coming after him this week.
Very subtly too, which is just brilliant. I think he might just be like.
That's why
I don't think he's paying too much mind to it, but
nutters in the movie when the movie was made.
Yeah.
And actors in the movie know the entire movie. When Daisy Ridley's doing her scenes, she gets all of it done, and then they put the movie together. And there's the movie. She goes, "What the fuck is this 30-minute casino?"
Yeah.
Oh gosh!
Oh man,
bring that up again.
I could completely believe that.
Yeah, just like they had no idea because they weren't filming all of that. So maybe it is sort of like it kind of reminds me of Endgame in a way. Like the only people who knew about this about the certain scenes were the people who were involved in it. Do you think it was like that kind of a situation? Because I think that's kind of where where I kind of fall in.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
It would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, we're about ready to wrap it up here in just a second, but I just want to thank each and every single one of you in the chat who supported the stream and gave it a like. Really appreciate it. We're going to close it out here. Thank you all so much. First off, Pop Culture PB, you got anything you want to shout out? My lovely co-host. Anytime now.
Go check out my Batwoman review. Apparently, they can do a good episode. All it takes is using all of the heroes that are available in the CW Arrowverse.
Indeed. I can believe that for sure. And the lovely Mr. Aviators himself, although he is not wearing his aviators now, but he is here, and that we love. Mr. John Matrixx.
They're right there. They're
Yes.
right there. I'm pretty blind. I mean, I think allergies are really bothering me. So I'm wearing my glasses and so I can see.
Oh no, no, it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, check me out, man. Lots of Star Wars videos I've been putting up lately. I've been going live quite a bit lately. I'm going to be going live Saturday, I think, also, and talk more about this debacle. Check me out, man. I think you'll really enjoy my content. That's it.
Yeah, and your content is excellent. So yes, everyone go check them out. And of course, we have my co-host from formerly known as the Council of Jeremys. I think we're going to be having one coming up pretty soon. We have an anniversary. The 1-year anniversary of the Council of Jeremys is coming up this Sunday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that.
Oh, Sunday, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a year already.
Cool.
I remember that first one, man. That was pretty fun.
That was fun, and it was my first live stream, and I handled it pretty well. So everyone go check that out. But yeah, Clone Commander Jeremy himself. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Right. I'm going to break the trend. I don't want you to subscribe to me. I don't want you to follow me on Twitter. But I want you to listen to what I have to say. Not only does Palpatine
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Alive
What was that?
Screw...
Sorry.
Not only does Palpatine being alive to be killed by Rey screw over Anakin and Luke, but if the leaks are true, Palpatine is also at least 1,000 times stronger when Rey confronts him as he was in Return of the Jedi.
Oh God!
If the leaks are true.
Why'd you have to remind me of that? That's just wrong. Anyways, and also last but certainly not least, the guy who could give Drunk 3PO a run for his money is the most handsome man on YouTube.
Ew.
Yes, don't be shaking your head at that. You know it's true, Mr. 19K Fox. I cannot wait until you get to 19K so you can really fulfill the username.
I will change. I'll go to 20K. I'll do whatever I have to do. Please, if you've got a few minutes, swing by my channel, check it out. I do the 2-minute review. It's a new movie every week. I do Batwoman reviews. I do Mandalorian reviews. A lot of trailer reactions this week. I was traveling, so that was easy to get those videos out. But yeah, swing by, take a look if you like it. I would appreciate it if you maybe subscribe. Once again, Justin, thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I would like to thank each and every single person who's in the chat. And also, I got to give a shout out to my patron. I do have a Patreon. It's kind of new and it's just developing, but I'm going to have more content on there very soon. What an ass. What a bitch. What a cuck. Thank you for being my first patron. I greatly appreciate it, my friend. Anyways, that's all we got for today. This is Justin Proper here. Live long and proper, my proper compadres. And that's about it. Now, how do we